That's what I think.
Jeff, your thoughts? Do you agree?
This is insane. He just said, look, we can't predict how this is going to go. So the next thing he says, or the thing before that is, don't save for retirement. We have no idea how this is going to look on the other side. So just say, screw it. The hell with it. Just trust us that this is going to go well and you're going to be taken care of.
Is that how you process it? That he's saying trust us and we'll figure it out?
He's saying trust us. This is all going to work the way we want it to work. And then you won't be to save for retirement. And then he also said, we don't know how the hell it's going to work out. I mean, to me, this is completely insane.
Wow. But Brandon, you go first, and then I got a lot of thoughts.
Okay,
Let me hear what he says first.
Yeah, no, it's super reckless. I mean, I'm curious, like, how many times Elon Musk's been wrong? I know there's been a lot of them, but I mean, like, to put on like
$800 billion.
I know, but still, he's been wrong. He's making crazy predictions. He's been wrong about like with timelines and everything. So, but like, look at the stakes that if he is wrong. Like, I mean, people already don't save for retirement. So, it's like, how many people are going to be influenced by that and say like, oh yeah, screw it, we're going to be able to have UBI in the future, so I'm not going to save for retirement. And then what if he's wrong? So it's correct.
So I'm literally building a company around this because I think that this is the single most important thing that everyday American has to understand is happening right now. There is a arms race that is about to occur, which is there is artificial intelligence that's being built at hyper speed. And that artificial intelligence is being able to automate away tasks and eventually jobs at a very, very fast rate. Now, let me give you a couple examples. How many software engineers now aren't writing code, they're just letting AI do it? I invested in a lot of these companies, 50+% of the 15% of these companies written by AI. Now, there is Claude Cowork. So now it can go and do a bunch of tasks that an entry-level employee can do. You're now starting to even see Elon in that same interview, or I'm sorry, he did an interview with the chief with Dorcash and the Carlson brothers. He kept saying, we think that Grok has a way to learn faster than all the other models. And he wouldn't say why. And so I started thinking about, he kept mentioning Tesla, the Tesla model. And so I said, oh my God, he is basically going to have people just record their computer screen while they work. And they're going to use machine learning to figure out how to do what you did. So I tweeted, Elon responded, an attacker and he responded, he said, pretty much. And so what's going to happen here is artificial intelligence will put a bunch of people out of work. What I believe is the arms race is we have to race to harness artificial intelligence to make you money. Because basically what's going to happen here is if we do not harness the ability for artificial intelligence to make people money, in terms of you have capital, you give it to the artificial intelligence, it goes into the market and makes you money. What is going to happen is you're going to be out of work, you're not going to have any capital, you're going to not have a path because the machines can do a better job at anything that you do. And so the first thing that we did is we built this product called CFO Silver, which basically you come in, you load all of your different accounts, you put your bank account, your crypto, your brokerage, all that stuff in there. And then you can start to talk to the AI and ask it a simple question. How do I get my tax rate down? What should I do if I want to have this net worth in 5 years or 10 years? You can also ask it, like, how does this current event go ahead and impact my current portfolio? And the beauty of this is, if you ask a ChatGPT or Anthropic or any of these other guys, it'll give you very basic answers. You know, here's what you would do to get the tax rate down. What this does is it tells you to your specific situation, asset by asset, what to do. And what's interesting about this is we start to get feedback from these users. What are these users saying? I trust the AI more than I trust a human person. I tell the AI more things that I would know. I ask questions I wouldn't ask a human because the human will judge me, but I can ask these questions here. And so what you start to realize is people are going to put all of their information and context into these systems. And they're basically going to say, oh, and see if what's open is to the finance side. But what we start to see now is, okay, if there's an arms race occurring, what you're going to see is you're going to see finance get money. Because ultimately, you're an average person, and you're sitting, I'm going to work every single day, and I might lose my job in the future. What do I do? I'm going to have to use this technology to get ahead, or it's going to put me out of business. So that is the arms race.
Do you agree with them? Do you agree with them that retirement's not something that's important today?
I think that, one, you should always have some sort of safety, right? What I think that he's basically saying here, though, is he's actually not saying don't have retirement. What I think he's saying is humans are not going to drive their retirement. It is going to be all this other stuff. So what the future I envision is you're going to actually take your money, you're just going to give it to the AI. The AI is going to make sure that you have monthly income, that you've got retirement money, etc. Now there's a gap between where we are with the technology and where that eventually will be. What you see is like, you see them constantly looking for, there's all these AI bots and stuff that are now trying to figure out how to use technology in the financial market, accuracy trading, hedge fund annuity for a long time. So my view of this is he's right that you are not going to be trading your time for money in the future in the way that we've thought about that over time. But he's wrong in that you're still going to need money, and so you need some sort of retirement.
That's interesting. So how does that? I mean, again, how does that work for, say, a plumber?
Well, the whole idea is that, look, if I said to you right now, what can robots do? Most people say electricians are safe, plumbers are safe, etc. Okay, but if I went back 5 years ago and I said, do you think that robots are going to build homes? You would tell me I'm crazy. I've seen multiple videos online. Now, the homes don't look the same, but they're 3D printed, they've got these cement automation, all this kind of stuff. And so as we rapidly get here, I think one of the aspects of all this AI stuff, robotics, that to me is frankly, it breaks my mind. Right? Because it's scary and exciting at the same time, is this idea of exponential production. So if the humanoid robots can start producing more humanoid robots, then what is going to be that future look like? Now, the one thing I will say is I actually think that the last human look that exists is right here. This is the last human look. There is not a thing in your brain that is a moat compared to software. Software is going to be able to do everything that humans do. But this, your 5 fingers in your hand, the dexterity, the mobility of your hand,
The value of knowledge. What is going to be the value of knowledge? What is going to be the value? Somebody who is got a great memory and knows a lot of facts. Like, what is going to be useless? Something that we admire. That in 10 years we're going to say, yeah, so what? You're so smart. You have all that information. I can take Johnny off the street. He's a homeless guy. Put a $2.2 million latest chip model from NVIDIA that's this, and he's going to have access to every single book ever written, every fact in his brain. He's going to have every information there now as well as see how good of a processor it is. What do we value today that because of AI we will not in 10, 20 years?
Creativity.
You think creativity?
Creativity, the ability to go beyond what we have today.
So you think in 20 years we won't value creativity?
No, I think we will value more creativity.
How about the know-how you were not going to? Know-how, knowledge, facts,
Know-how memorization, replicate a lot of, because of a little more mechanical process. It's about the ability to go beyond where we have today. So that's what human ingenuity has been since we're.
I agree. There's 5 things we score at the company. Every quarter we do our calibration, and it's based on 5 things. EATIR. E is effort, A is attitude, T is teamwork, I is innovation, and then R is results. 3 weeks ago we went on a calibration meeting, and all the managers come in and they're scoring everybody. And then one of our guys, Mario, scores someone a 7 on innovation and gives these other 2 guys a 1. And I said, why did you give this guy 7 and these 12 other ones? Well, because of this, I said, well, why this guy 7? Because of this. And then he pauses and says, look, Pat, I don't like you. I don't even know how to score for innovation. I said, that's fair. A lot of other people probably feel the same.
That was the right answer.
So we have to figure out how to quantify on how to score innovation. And we did, by the way. And here's what our system was. 4-step process that we wrote out on the board. Number 1 was, how creative is this person? Which goes back to what you just talked about. That's the number 1 element of creativity for us. Number 2 was, does this person ask critical thinking questions all the time? We're sitting in a room and say, why don't we have that over there? Should we move this prompt over here? On the website, should we move the CTA here? The video that we did, I don't know if I like the way it starts the first 3 seconds. Maybe we move the intro, this clip, to second 48, and then move that one to the first 3 seconds. So that is the critical thinking. So you got creativity, critical thinking. Number 3 is actually always thinking about how we can improve everything. And last but not least is implementation, because you can have all the first 3 and you don't implement, it means nothing. I agree with you. To me, the way you're presenting it, is this is how I see it. Today you go to a Morgan Stanley guy or Goldman Sachs or a JP Morgan Chase guy. I have $10 billion. How should we invest? Well, let's go small cap, put your list on time horizon, all this other stuff. Let's put some cash, let's put some this. Your age is 50 years old, so 50 minus 100, let's go 50 equities, 50 bonds. Okay, great, no problem. You're saying in the next 2, 3, 5, 10 years, that person's gonna have, I got $10 million. You give it to the AI, and AI will say, how aggressive do you want me to go find work to create a business? Are you willing to risk that this could not work? And my brains of my engineers or the AI is going to go build this company. It's going to go do this for us. Is that kind of how you're processing it?
I'm saying 2 things. One is today, the AI will give you information that no human is able to do at the speed and the cost
I know that's what I'm talking
But
about.
you need the information first, and you need people to get used to getting the information.
What I'm going to is to kind of go back and then back to what Milana said. Are we going to get to a point that it's purely about, here's the engines for AI, I give you 10 million, go start something, go build something, go market something, and I do nothing. Then I take that 10 million and now it's like 88 million, go do something. So you think
There's
how
two
it's gonna
things
be?
that are happening right now. This is not like, hey, this is going to happen right. The first thing is there's a bunch of experiments that people have where they're basically saying, let me give you $10,000, $20,000 to this AI, go into the market and make money with it. Crypto market, stock market, whatever, right? So that to me is not very different than high frequency trading now with better technology. But that is something happening. The second thing that I find really interesting is there's been a couple of these demos that have now gone viral online where people will say to the AI, create me a business that makes X dollars per week, per month, per year. Come back when you're done. And the AI will go and it'll say, okay, well, let me make $100,000 a month. What industry should I go into? I go into the TAMs and all these industries where there, a lot of competition that I could go and undercut call. Like it does, call it kind of like a business analysis. This is okay, well, how much do you do in that industry? What product should I serve? What service, right? Can I create? It'll create a website, it's got a URL. It starts doing all this stuff. And these people are running these experiments, and what they're essentially doing is they're giving the AI, right? That right now, one of the biggest stories about Apple is that they're actually selling out of the Mac Minis, these small computers. These people are buying them hand over fist, and they are basically setting them up, and they're putting an AI on it, giving it full control of the computer, and saying, I'm going to give you a phone number, I'm going to give you an email address, I'm going to slot all these accounts. Go. And so I always go to and I say, right now, if we look back 3 years, most of this stuff didn't exist, right? ChatGPT, AI agents, all this is all brand new. This is the worst the technology has ever created. And so there's a huge gap right now between how the technology works and how people know how to leverage it. I don't know if you guys saw recently, there was this huge breakthrough in science where these very sophisticated scientists came out and they said, look, 12 months ago we didn't know how to use this technology. Now we actually know what questions to ask the technology. And so we started to solve really hard problems because we got better at using the tool. Right? It's like somebody who doesn't know how to use a shovel, all of a sudden learns how to use a shovel. So one thing that we've got for your audience is anyone who wants, anyone who signs up for CFO Sylvia next 24 hours, we're going to send them 100 prompts that I use on a periodic basis to better use AI to manage my finances. And what you'll see in these prompts is you can start to do things that you don't even know to ask. So like some of the popular stuff, what do people do to save money on their taxes? How should I take some of those ideas? All of a sudden, there's a bunch of stuff you just don't even know to ask. You don't know to Google this stuff. And when you go to, whether it's an advisor, a friend, an assistant, whatever, and you say, hey, what are the things that I should be thinking about? They are limited by human knowledge. And so this is going to get applied to every single sector. And that's why you see insurance companies saying we're going to charge less for premiums because software is better at driving, right? All the way through the economy.
Yeah, and I love that, but also at the same time, I'm going to, what is your meeting with your investment banker or financial advisor going to look like every quarter?
You're not going to have
That's what I'm saying. If it's getting, I don't know if you're not going to fully
no,
have.
they're going to get automated away. They 100% are going to get automated.
I think there will still be a role for the creative side and the advice side.
But I think this I disagree with Jeff on is, and I like talking to Jeff because he makes me think much more critically about this stuff. But I actually would argue that if I said to somebody, hey, you need to be creative about whatever type of art or prompting or whatever, if you simply ask the AI, come up with 20 prompts that I should ask about some topic, or write me a prompt.
You think the creators will have a president?
Well, it begs the question.
President.
It begs the question of what is the role of the president?
But think about it. What is the role of a financial advisor? What is the role of a guy? What is the role of any of these guys?
That chairman.
But you think in president?
Yes, because I don't think that job has a verifiable end state, whereas I do think that a financial advisor, a lawyer, etc., those are verifiable end states, and most of it, now lawyers have to go to court to argue and all this stuff, but like we get to a weird place where we have automated charges. So that I was going to say is that
Some movie that just came out with Chris Pratt. Did you see the movie with Chris Pratt?
No, I didn't see it.
Can you pull up this movie with every?
Well, that's a good question. Do you think we'll have automated judges?
No.
I think we have to define what AI, we think AI is going to do. To me, it's more like a human robot partnership. How can we make human beings more creative with the human? augment. So you don't eliminate necessarily the role of the human. Maybe you eliminate some of the roles of humans.
Jeff, do you know what this movie's about?
No.
Let me tell you what this movie's about. Okay, this movie is about Chris Pratt, who's an agent. He's a detective. He gets accused of killing his own wife. Okay? He wakes up, he's sitting in a chair, handcuffs, shackled. He has 90 minutes where he's sitting in front of this judge called Mercy to make the argument why he is not guilty. If he does it, when he sits in front of this judge, if he does make the argument, he's free. And almost so the judge is an AI. You have to watch this movie, by the way. You have to watch this movie. You know how the movie ends? The movie, I'm not going to tell you what ends up happening, but I'll tell you one special line that he says at the end that's scary as hell. He says, I guess what we learned is, just like human beings can make mistakes, so can AI. And it's about the judge when you see this.
There's also, and that's the thing, there's also a survival instinct in human beings. We're not just going to go passively be eliminated by AI. I think human beings, this is where the creativity comes in. The most creative humans are going to figure out how to partner with AI to stay on top of it.
I go back to, is there a verifiable instinct of the judge? Yes or no? If the answer is yes,
Like if we have a lazy population that says,
well, where's the data coming from though? It may be better. Does a judge in the current judicial process end up helping or hurting humans when you add in bias, error, etc.? There's a huge debate that we could have in terms of the role of the judge.
aren't you just replacing human bias with AI bias?
Well, so let me give you a good example. Is there's a study that shows if you are up for parole, you know the worst time to go in front of the parole judge? Right before lunch. So they looked at throughout the time of the day. Because look it up. There's a crazy study that shows if you go for
You're floated with something very dangerous.
No, so that's the thing. I think
You're floated with something. Let me explain to you why.
look at this, the hungry judge effect.
I get that, but you're floated with something very dangerous.
But are you going to replace it with a worse bias from AI?
Well, the question becomes
We cannot assume that AI has no bias.
how much of the law should include empathy versus fact? And I don't have good answers.
So you're going to put that into some coder's hands to code empathy.
But you know what's floated? I mean, let me tell you,
There's no easy answer.
There's definitely no easy answer, right? But
This is the conversation that people should have. Because you're right, the legal system, let's face it, it can be improved. Definitely be improved. But this is where I think the creativity comes in. You give the tools to the judge, the lawyers, whatever.
Jeff, the question is perfectly floated. We got him now. I'm going to tell you why. Because you know how there's what different parties we have. We have the Republican Party, the Democratic Party, the Independent Party, the Communist and Social Media, whatever you want to call it. Right? It is going to be human and the AI. That's what it's going to come down to. And if you go there, guess what? Why? The instinct inside of you, whether we know it or not, we're super competitive. Always. We're sizing each other up 24/7. The most noble person in the world, Mother Teresa, she's a psycho-competitor. Do you understand what I'm saying? Pastors are psycho-competitors. Joel Osteen, Billy Graham, it's in here. You can't get rid of it. It's in our gene. Okay? So then when it gets to a point and in your mind, you realize you can get AI on your side, then you see a couple different people, barrier to entry. What do you now have? It's about elimination of competition. Then what takes place? Now we're not banking on human team. Now we're banking on purely wealth and finance. And by the way, that's an empty place to be. Sergey Brin did an interview recently, I don't know if you saw this or not, and he's talking about what happened when he retired during COVID and how it was the biggest mistake of his life. This is a guy that's worth a couple $100 billion that just bought $174 million house, I think, in Miami. Rob, can you play this clip, please? Go.
Retired like a month before COVID, and it was like the worst decision. I had this vision that I was going to sit in cafes and study physics, which was my passion at the time, and yeah, more because there were no more cafes. I was just kind of stewing and kind of felt myself spiraling, kind of not being sharp. And then I was like, all right, I gotta get back to the office.
From 60 to
I was supposed to, after a number of months, we started to have some folks going to the office, and I started to do that occasionally, and then we started spending most of the time called Gemini, which is super exciting, and being able to have that technical, creative output, I think that's very rewarding, as opposed to if I stayed retired. That would have been a mistake. Actually, retired.
just the way he speaks, does he sound motivation to you? Does he sound inspired to you?
I used to see this all the time when I used to manage money for people. I used to tell them when they get closer to retirement.
That's you not retired because he knows to get rid of you.
Don't retire, because what you can see is that people who retire completely commit to retirement, they are dead.
And you know what, is the dirty truth of this whole AI thing? I have a lot of friends on a lot of companies. Right now, two things are true. They have never worked as hard as they are working right now because they see there is an arms race and they want to win. To your point, that competition, if you control the machines, if you control the intelligence. All right, that's the first thing. The second thing, their day-to-day life at work is harder than it has ever been. Not only is there the speed of innovation and everything, they can't keep up, but AI is taking away all the easy tasks. So the only thing that are left are all the hard tasks now. So they've got to spend, in terms of density of hard tasks in a day is actually going up. And so it's the weird dynamic of you're promised an economic or societal utopian abundance, when actually the lives of people who understand what's happening here, they're working harder and they're spending more of their day on the hard problems, which I actually think is leading to many of them not being as happy.
Yeah, so when I see something like this, and I see a guy having $266 billion, you know what he can buy? He doesn't just buy that $16.4 million car. He buys the entire company. He buys the entire brand. He can buy fanatics. He can buy industries. He can buy the leagues if he wants to. That's the kind of money that he has.
Because he's a creative guy. He has to have that creative.
Yeah, but there is a problem. There is a problem. This video here, I made this video a couple days ago, and I had my son record me. And it says the only noise that scares parents. Okay, Rob, go ahead and play. What is the only noise that scares parents? Silence.
I knew what it was before you
Well, check this out. You know what the point is with what we're talking about right now with AI? Here's the point. Check this out. What happens if all of a sudden this race goes so quickly and we replace everybody? What happens when a bunch of people have a lot of time on their hands? The last time I had a lot of time on my hands, my hair was orange. Just letting you know, last time I had a lot of time on my hands. It is so important for everybody to have a job and do something. Even if everything gets automated, I don't want to stay home. Even if we have half the population staying home doing nothing, that is a horrible society. Horrible society. We have to have purpose. We have to be going after something. So, to me, the only thing is, the question becomes if you allow AI to run with no regulation. If you allow it to, is this something that you want to highly deregulate? You want to leave it open to let it go? And typically, as a capitalist, you want deregulation. You don't want regulation. You want it to go. But at what level? Will it be at a level of replacing human beings? Will it be at the level of replacing what people are doing? Like right now, how long ago do you think the NFL could have changed referees and done 100% AI? They could have done it 5 years ago. How come they don't do it? Do you want?
They are doing it, but they are doing it.
They are, but you want it to be 100% getting rid of the referees?
So that's the thing is,
I don't know about that, because then guess what happens? First is the referee, then the first team announces an AI head coach. We don't want a head coach, we want an AI head coach. That's a job. Then it goes to, listen, XYZ company just built a running back, and the NFL has agreed that each team can have 3 AI robot players. Now you got a robot player that they pay $88 million in sponsorship. So that's an Anthropic quarterback. This one has the open AI quarterback. This one has the game changes in a very big way if we go too much there. What final thoughts?
The NFL is interesting because they're trying to figure out, did the ball cross the plane or not, replay, all that stuff, right? I think what Jeff said earlier is like this idea of human error is also an important point. So like baseball is actually a better example to me, where there's a strike zone. When you watch a baseball game, they tell you whether it's a strike zone or not. But there's still an umpire. The umpire still thinks balls are strikes. Yeah, and so
Human robot first.
yeah, and so I do think that there is this this transition period where people are trying to figure this out. The last thing I'll say about this whole thing though is my number one piece of advice for people is to start using the technology. Because the one thing that I know for sure is you're going to get left behind if you use none of it. Now, how extreme is the impact is up for debate. But if you are not using this technology on a day-to-day basis, you are going to fall behind. And so you can start, replace some of your Google searches with using AI, using it at work, right? You can start slow, but if you are not using this stuff, you're going to be left behind.
Yeah, that part I don't disagree. But it's very important to realize. But we played a clip the other day, 2022, October 17th, when I said Dow's going to go to 50,000 by 2026.
You nailed it.
And I nailed it. But I'm telling you, very soon, this whole political party concept could go away, and it could be human versus AI. That could be 20 years away.
You know what's funny is like if you look at how Trump won in 2016, there's now a bunch of funny information that's come out where basically they were selling the red hats and they were using that to get the data to then put into the lookalike audience on Facebook. They were using the Facebook advertising. Like that wasn't quote unquote artificial intelligence, but that lookalike audience technology is machine learning and all this type of stuff for sure. Right?
We do it ourselves, for sure.
Yeah. Right. So it's like whoever starts to use the technology more and more.
Only if human is above. It's the only thing if that stays above. If all of a sudden, look what happened right now, birth rate in America, 1.58. You know, last year we only had 3.6 million babies born in America. Do you know how many babies we had born in America in 1940? 3.6 million. But we did it with 150 million people.
Yeah.
And we only did 3.6 million with 340 million people. Do you know America, 3 times we went on a run of 4 million plus babies every year. Once we did it 5 years, once we did it 7 years, once we did it 11 years. The most babies we ever made in a year is what? 4.3 million babies. So then you go through a list of why we're not making babies anymore, right? Okay. So one is, I think it's called NPR, the introduction of what do you call it, birth control pills. I think the year is 1960. That it was FDA approved and it was only available to married women in certain states. Now it's everywhere, right? Then you have Roe v. Wade, which abortion, 65 million kids we've killed the last 50, 60 something years, right? That's the real Holocaust. That's something to talk about. Then you have in 1957, which was the highest birth rate we ever had in America, that's documented, 3.77. That year, women were in the workforce 35% of the time. Today, women are in the workforce 65 to 70% of the time. Very different. You know, that whole dual income, one both to go to work. So when you look at the stats, you're like, yeah, let's get women working as well. This is going to be great. We have double the workforce. Birth rates drop. What else? You know, people were having kids at 22, 20, 23 years old. Now they're having kids at 30 years old, 32 years old, 34 years old. So some of the movements that we adjusted, we took a different kind of a hit. So the only thing for me is like my thoughts when it comes out to stuff like this, we have to be very careful that we don't over-edify AI to human. And if it goes that way, you will be a slave to AI in no time. It will own you in no time.
If you think about this, right, so like one of the core principles that I usually refer to when making kind of evaluations and stuff is, does it hurt somebody else? Right, if it hurts somebody else, then technically, well, but there's things you may not know people. No, of course, but like if you think of this phone, right, and you say to yourself, okay, somebody making that phone is saying, oh, you can connect with your family, you can learn information, you can do all this stuff. Well, there's a bunch of studies that show scrolling social media is incredibly bad, not only for your focus, for your energy levels, but also just your mental health and all this stuff. And so it's, as a society, how do we make a trade-off between is social media regulated to a certain degree or not? How should we shit on these kids? You can't. So that's the thing. Is age demographic.
You can't do that though, because if you and all the ethical people like you make the same decisions, then who will be left enough to run the AI arms with a site pack.
No. What I'm saying though is just like I think as a society, it's not just AI. It's like there's a bunch of these technology things we're trying to figure out, right? It's like self-driving cars is another one. We have verifiable, objective data. Self-driving cars are much safer than a human driver. There are a massive amount of people who are fighting against this, saying we should not have self-driving cars on the street.
It's a Dunning-Kruger effect. Everybody thinks they're above that for drivers.
So you want to know what I do at dinners now? Whenever I host dinners, is we had a big conference last week, and I had dinner with probably 25 people or so. And I asked them, in this room, how many of you think AI on a daily basis? You know, kind of business crowd, everybody say, great. How many of you think that your job is going to get replaced by AI in the next 5 years? Not one person raised their hand. I said, well, listen, by the odds, you know, somebody ain't going to be here in 5 years. It's just nobody thinks it's them.
Yeah. No, I get that. We have our annual Sales Leadership Summit that is coming up this year. We're doing it at the Trump Doral. I went to the property the other day. Unbelievably beautiful property. And if you're a salesperson or a sales leader or a CEO that wants to drive sales and find superstars and develop superstars, Rob, play that clip that you have. I think Alicia sent it to you. Go right ahead.
Which of these two skill sets guarantees success for you? Being able to recruit rock stars, 8 and 9, coming in talented and they change the company overnight. Or 2, you knowing how to develop rock stars. Which of these two guarantees success? From my experience, when I was not a rock star and I got lucky and I recruited a rock star, I could never keep a rock star. Eventually, I obsessed over developing people to succeed in sales. Once I did that, all the rock stars started knocking on the door because they wanted to work with me. This is why once a year I host an event called the Sales Leadership Summit. This year, March 25th to 27th at Trump Doral. If you want to find out how you and your team can attend this event to learn how to become better sales leaders, click on the link below, fill out your information. One of our consultants will get a hold of you.
There you go, Rob. That's the QR code, and we're going to put the link below. Rob, if you can put the link below as well for people to go learn more about it and fill out the information. One of our representatives will call you and answer any questions you may have about the event. And hopefully we'll see you there March 25th and 27th at the Trump Doral. If you enjoyed this video, you want to watch more videos like this, click here. And if you want to watch the entire podcast, click here.
And that's the reason why politically he was able to survive the Kideki to comment transition. If you are search is also not as easy as people think. And also it's such a sensitive docket like interior. But yeah, maybe there's a reason why it's going to confused because why has he been able to survive both Kideki and good comment? Maybe he does the various things, but doesn't look like that, but anyway.
If there's any chance against my brother-in-law presenting the power competence court of law tomorrow, we will be there. The rally that is being organized in Kakamega, we will be there. And you cannot stop this rally. This rally is bigger than you. You're just a mere peers.
It's a mere peers. How to say something I just said? The PS for interior is a very sensitive document. And interior is a sort of document that for you to get the PS for that. Because remember, the CS has changed, but the PS has remained constant. It means that the president trusts you to a certain level. And yeah. So I don't think the name mayor is a sort of name to use. But I understand that you are all is fair in love and war. So, okay.
In the interior section, the plan is that we tell to bigger people. Some of us work on their today, when we together. And very much as we see, you are organizing groups being transported from Kisumu, from tomorrow, transported from Kisumu all the way to Kakamega, to bring violence, to hurt other Kenyans.
Okay, to the goods. As a lady, the percentage Kakamega, because we are in Jinga. Because, first of all, it's the Ubuntu notice among to understand what's going on. So, language is very important. Divorce, lazima be protect. And the only way to protect is to stay back in Kisumu. Like, that would be stupid. But maybe there's another way to look at it. Like, if it's government funded, then maybe you are a little bit safer. But kumbuka even during the protests, the last year when Alexa nikamwambia baba aliambia Sakaja panga vijana bado wale vijana nikafikata nitandikwa walikuwa wanakuta na nani Sakaja kulikuwa na nani Sakaja and hapo maandaliwa Nairobi I'd say it's your chances of surviving maybe a much higher than Kakamega. So why would you go to Kakamega, especially size considering how Sifuna star is shining. The last place that you want to go to challenge Sifuna is Kakamega. Yeah, I don't know if you can do Nico, but you don't want to go there. That's what I know. So if you're good, those are what you can name, but come on, you're good and I'll take you on me. I'll take you on any like this. That's not the place to go.
I want to challenge you. I want you to come to Kakamega. We see and my brother, you cannot intimidate us. Bosi yako mwenyewe watu wewe unashinda. The other day we organized to vandalize our PS system at Kitengela. You are paying them 1,000, 2,000 Kenya shillings. And I want to tell you that we will not stop until we reach our destination. Thank you.
Okay, so here is a statement from Babuin that was by yesterday. When some brother in working on this last year about the story of Kegela. The story of Kegela, interesting. One of the things that happened in Kegela, of course, was someone who was killed, which was very unfortunate. And the other thing is still doesn't got released in the middle of the crowd. And now, according to book of it, police were not involved. It's civilians working with the wrong police. So by the police, I mean the Kenya government was not involved. So Elythechef released a statement which I found to be super interesting, akisema that they are going to leave no stone unturned. The policemen that are working with civilians equal skills for his rallies. And I don't know if I buy it, but one thing is, Sally disappeared after that statement of Angusha, but Kumi, Angusha to 15. He ended up disappearing. I don't know if it was protests in Isha, because of the book, they are mission maximum violent, say, protests in Isha. So I don't know if that's the reason, but protest is.
Nigeria Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen says police have launched investigations into the misuse of tear gas canisters and political rallies. Speaking in a UK high-level security meeting, Murkomen revealed that authorities suspected police equipment may have been diverted into civilian hands. He warned that anyone found culpable, including officers accused of colluding with civilians, will face the full force of the law.
This is interesting. Okay, so why would civilians like we used to throw tear gas at a Kitegela rally? The Kitegela rally was super successful for alikuwa ni Sifuna, Babuino, Orengo. So why would they throw tear gas at their own rally? Makes no sense to me. But again, those political mathematics that came, you must get Chikiteka Mafuga alikuwa na Ruto ya criticize Ruto alafu watu confuse because criticize Ruto. There is a calculation, so the same calculation zile za yes. Sifuna had such a successful rally, but they were like, you know what, to make this rally better, let's throw tear gas and disrupt our successful rally and make it chaotic. Makes no sense. Just keep it.
And the Inspector General of Police is investigating all those incidences to see whether there are some civilians who have tear gas, and these are resources that are not supposed to be in civilian hands, or whether there are police officers who are colluding with civilians and giving them tear gas canisters. It's the same problem. It's not unique to tear gas only. People are having bullets in this valley, and bullets that are supposed to be in the hands of security officers. They have guns, even worse, ammunitions like guns, who are not supposed to be in civilian hands. So the same way guns and bullets are in wrong hands here, we have witnessed situations where tear gas canisters are in the wrong hands of civilians.
Okay, the guns I admit, of course kuna wanapatia guns zao zitumike for crime. That makes sense. They hire out. Some even go out of their way to do it. But to claim that civilians have tear gas and they're using it at political rallies, the opposition, so that to make the government look bad, and they're using them at very successful rallies that they are holding, makes no sense. But as I always say, hapa Kenya, watu sema vitu zingine. But sasa hiyo, like the rally that's coming up this Sunday, one of the things that inasemekana ni hii ya Kitegela walijitetea akina Murkomen wakasema that first of all it was a market day, second they were not informed. So this time kuna vile Sifuna aliamua they have to inform them. Na Libaki amesema kitu interesting that apparently there is a WhatsApp group ya secretaries and Murkomen is still there, although he's a CS.
Challenge is only to speak up. Point to the fact that we should be asking government and the Minister for Internal Security, the Honorable Murkomen. By the way, that individual called Murkomen is still on the Senate WhatsApp group because he's from a Senate. So all of those things we are saying, and in fact I've taken advantage of that. Yesterday I saw him saying that he did not, or he was not aware that we were going to Kitengela. I have sent the notification for the Kakamega rally that we have made the OCPD of Kakamega to his WhatsApp now, and I'm going to send it to the Senate WhatsApp group because he reads our messages there, although he's not a Senate, so that he cannot come and tell the country that he was not aware that we are going to have a meeting. Honorable Speaker, all those people who are involved in these things should be rescued. Even if Kitengela, Honorable Speaker, we lost a life needlessly. We lost a life because of police action, not because that there was something wrong that we were doing. The last hypocrisy that I want to point out is that this statement is being sought by the same person who was accusing politicians of orchestrating violence on themselves. Shame.
Articles for me are like politicians orchestrating violence on themselves. Makes no sense. Like this rally was so successful that you could see that even at us from Manyali was like, damn, this is so successful. So why would you want to disrupt that? So yeah, here it makes sense. Like why would you disrupt your own successful value. So I guess I'm going to be come up with like another sort of reasoning. But yes, I'm looking forward to what's actually going to happen on Sunday. Because now I think Kamega, I expect to let's wait and see if your Makarao will involve the Babu wanasema kuna matatizo happen or something. Because one thing that's happened is these goods, they become a problem. And how they become a problem? But the president and commander around zake za laki sama, he wants a few things which I personally don't agree with. I feel like if you're trying to turn Kenya into a so-called first world country, I understand you're going to launch the dam in December, that there's 140 million liters of water in Nairobi per day that was not Kujaing before. I'm happy for that. Yeah. But people don't smoke this needs some shit. Like you have real shit to deal with, you don't need to deal with that sort of shit. So sasa, what happened after that tour? Apparently was open kwa road, and this road number goods ikiendelea, like it happened on Wednesday, ikiendelea ku happen on Thursday, and it got nasty. And I remember I watched a certain video of a certain lady, and I didn't even save it until I saw like Citizen actually shared the same thing. So yes, it was really chaotic.
Several Nairobi streets turned into chaotic scenes after the presidential function in Lakisama. Groups of bodaboda riders descended on pedestrians across multiple locations, from Thika Road to Westlands, Chirono, Kileleshwa, Kilimani, robbing unsuspecting members of the public.
That's it, and this is after a presidential tour. So this shows you how much crime in Kenya has gone up. That Tuskegee report, it's not only civilians that were getting robbed, hata makarao walipoenda kwa hiyo event walikuwa getting robbed. Maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's the thing that's going to make them finally deal with this whole insecurity thing, because damn, Nairobi is getting insecure.
Some of the victims were police officers deployed along Thika Road during the presidential event. One victim says she was attacked outside Muthaiga police station along Thika Road.
Askeo, people are getting outside the police station. Video we watch, and are not even like retweeted, because no retweeted but I was a and you can see like outside a police station, and I'm not gonna say even cops that were involved in
Yesterday, after the function, whether you define it as a criminal or a criminal, any person who perpetrates that kind of a crime, including those ones of yesterday and even the previous ones, those people should face the law.
Deputy Inspector General of Police Edwin Lagat condemned the attacks, assuring the public that those responsible will face the full force of the law.
We are going to do what we can to make sure that this criminal, this emerging crime is going to be dealt with the force that it deserves.
So, really interesting, because I feel like now, easy number plates are motorbikes. There needs to be a place for how they can be easily identified. And because now we have to understand what is a part of the road, and there's very little you can do about it. But they also come with the threat of insecurity. Are there honest boda riders? Yes, out of every 10 boda riders, I'd say 9 are honest, 1 is dishonest. That's number 1. But out of 10 boda riders, I'd say 7 don't follow the law. It comes to lane discipline and follow traffic rules. They don't do that. So that's what makes it chaotic. And that means also that 7 out of 10 will always be able to turn on innocent motorists who are using the road the right way. Later you have a so
personally unajua mtu ako na BT
something needs to be done. And another important thing, you plan any happens outside. Like what I'm saying, how about awareness? See,
Tunatafuta na ukisikia watu wanaweza ipata.
So say kwa sisi achukua mfano mahali wakapiga video
Pata mimi nikipata nitakwambia.
Okay, that's the situation. But
Police are now investigating whether the suspects were acting as criminal gangs or are politically instigated.
it's politically instigated. They're coming from the president's event. The president is one of the people who made people believe that the only hassle that young people can have in border borders. People literally went last year to the State House to take border borders. So how then can you turn around and be surprised? Was it politically instigated? Yes, politically instigated by the president himself.
Authorities confirmed that 2 suspects were seeking money, while 3 others were arrested and 5 motorcycles nabbed. The suspects are expected to be arraigned on Friday.
Everybody who experience that kind of a problem, this is a two-way engagement where the other side of a person that got affected should be able to make a complaint of an official and an OB so that we can have investigators follow.
So kita kujua pia kita impress kidogo, kita kujua vile there's that famous thing that time means anything. Famous hit the hatred and the vitriol that we had against this guy. Remember last year we were like arrest Lagat. The Lagat has to resign. This dude is right now he's releasing statements in public and no one even remembers. Even me, like sizing it, like damn, oh shit, I'm about to join. This is that guy. Police are out.
This marked the second incident in March last year. Traders and motorists along Thika Road and Country Road suffered losses of millions following chaos shortly after presidential tour of Mathare and Ruaraka.
So, at some point, the president has to blame himself for this. But you see now, the president is also saying a good thing. I don't know if he actually means it, but he addressed this story. I don't know if he was addressing it directly, but he addressed this story and the fact that Nairobi needs to be made Nairobi. And because Kimoja says that me personally, Nairobi has been my home, and I always love Nairobi. And that's the reason why when I see the chaos and all the bullshit that happens, I'm always like, we can make this city better. Kuna footage yourself wanna share. And the footage allegedly was footage Addis Ababa, and the president of Turkey had gone to Addis Ababa, and if you just saw how it looked like at the level through the streets, it looked really good. Because Addis Ababa is super organized, it's super, and then when you look at our city, Nairobi inakuwa super disorganized, and Nairobi inakuwa chaotic kabisa. So something has to be done about Nairobi.
Mwaka ni mpya lakini injili ni ile verified. So kama kwa US, kwa UK, kwa Canada, kama kwa UAE, tunadoke wakimechangamka ya verified, tabaki kimepata the most competitive rates. Lakini apart from that, on your first transaction ya $100 or more, utapata $20 sign up reward. So unangoja nini? Wakimechangamka cha
Mimi nakuja hivi naona mtu uko nyuma. Ananifuata hata sijamwona. Alafu wewe usikii. Niko kwa earphones. Nimekwambia nini? Simekwambia kwa nyuma yangu. Nasikia tu presence ya mtu. Sasa shida ni unataka kugongo. Mimi labda nigongo. Mimi ama Sikuuliza utacheza? Mimi nacheza. Kama niende blues. Blues kama unakucheza na? Kuna msee huko. Mimi kuna pesa sichezani. Hadi tu kuna competition. Leo niko na check competition ni road. Mimi anaweza nikataa kucheza na mimi.
Mimi nina pesa, mimi bora pesa.
Yana kucheza na mimi.
Oh, hii mimi. Kani nataka kukulipia
Sawa. Unasemaje Ben? Mazuri. Tunasikia jana umeenda janga. Ya, ulikuwa unapiga shughuli jana bro. Nilala. Miano. Wote hizi. Kati ya sawa kama nikipinya.
nani anataka kulipa token?
Sini Ben. Ben kama una doya token na nishakwambia mambo.
Nadogo kuchana moto.
Asi, ongea tu. Ya.
It's a way for the family to make money.
Moto ama furaha. There's a difference.
Wanasema
Kwa sawa mimi. Unajua kuna moto na kuna furaha. Moto ni nini?
joto,
Unaona moto?
joto.
Moto ni juzi vile nilikupiga nikatoroka.
Unanikumbusha.
Nataka nikukumbushe. Na kuonyesha the difference.
Akibusi bano.
Niko charging. Neno kuna maji?
Maji leo kwa wingi. Leo ni Friday.
Kiku na pata.
Eh? Matai. Ama nitume ujana. Kuna chupa hivi. Unaleta maji pendo kumi.
Jazi, uko umetia. Miano, umetia.
Kama maji mzee.
Hapo uko unapitia nyuma miano.
Agricultural support programs that are improving livelihoods.
Devolution has matured. It has come of maturity. It is a very, very significant anchor and pivot in our constitution.
As devolution matured, what I don't like is we had like 13 years of devolution, but I haven't seen anything that has really wowed me. Not for the serious getting extra salary. For students,
Miano unaweza kuosha kitu kweli. Unaweza kuosha kitu kweli.
Washa nini?
CPS.
Umewasha?
Nimeshia password. Unaona kuna glass. Banana kumwaga stop. Yaani kuna watu tunanuzianga watu clips 10 boss. Tunanuzianga watu clips 10 boss.
Si pesa kidogo.
Hai watu. Hiyo si pesa kidogo.
Vile tunapika. Ukia kama hesabu ya token.
Unapika na simu.
Mafuta. Na masaa ile umepika. Leba.
Hadi flavor. Unasema unaendanga cruise spices kuona.
Ni ukweli. Biashara ni
Furaha.
ukipika kitu for 6-8 hours. Sio alafu ulipisi hiyo 10 box iko tu fresh.
We propose that the financial autonomy for county assemblies be put into law so that we be able to get monies that are from the CRF.
Ndio kunikia kitu yenye itafanya dido sawa. Yaani kwa au yanachukua ndani.
But yeah, I guess that's it. Morning, look at the person. I hope you don't meet someone who's going to marry you from a presidential.
Unatumianga La Liga? Unachezanga na timu gani? Hata ugomvi.
Leo lazima mzee. Jaji umetoboka.
Weke hapo nje. Ni hapo kwa mdomo.
Niaje Buda? Buda. Nasema umeniita kama vile nimeka ubeshi yangu amenifanyia hivi, kafanya hivi, mwambie ni aje, anaangalia nyuma, si hapo kwa hiyo foot, so amegeuka nyuma, hasa anaangalia huku kwa nini kwa barabara. Imagine COVID, so bado kunywa maji mingi utaanza kusikia kunyora tena. Ndio hiyo. Hivi ndio unataka kuligonga. Niko sawa mimi nikiwa hapo.
Nataka kujua hiyo tu.
Akisikiliza
anaitwa Benito. Maana ukatafuta formation.
ndio bwana ndio ukipita.
Anasema ndio ukatafuta shida. Mbona sema jambo? Ndio ukatafuta
formation na sina.
Unaenda kucheza kwa hiyo bila alisema twende siku moja kwa kesho. Sana siku hizi Simamia bora usiniambie.
Ndio ukimsimamia mtu atataka kufikisha.
Sina shida. Chanda utafuta mix. Sema bado unajua ni kuna ingine nilikuwa nimeka pia. Mmoja nilikuwa nimeka. So I drove on it. Formation iko.
Formation ni ile hiyo.
Sawa.
Sina kama
Bado nakwambia formation.
What Kenya needs is a benevolent dictator. But what Kenya needs is a dictator. And I have to look at Ruto before I answer this question. I have to look at Ruto's record. And
nakwambia election zane na za kushika moja.
Sawa. Wewe ndio umesema hivi. Sawa.
Elections in 2022. Who did he appoint? In his cabinet, he appointed someone who had a murder case. He appointed someone who had a rape case. He appointed a bunch of people who had corruption cases. And what happened when these people came into the cabinet? The corruption cases continued. Their murder cases were dropped, the rape cases were dropped, and all this. So the question is, if you can't do this when it's a democracy, if a democracy means that hawezi pata Kenya kuna child that's going to be in case murder case. What makes us think that a dictator is going to do something different? So I know it's going to be easier, and the reason I feel also this is because it also exists our country. Like more trust. So elections is stolen in this country. And if elections are stolen, it means that the person that the people chose does not end up being the leader. So is that a democracy? Tukiangalia Uganda or Tanzania, you think the democracies. But someone can argue that Tanzania has had benevolent dictators. Because what's the definition of a benevolent dictator? I always find it to be very interesting, especially when people start so dictator. Because even when it comes to history, I think someone he posted on saying to Angelo Ken and they all clapped. It was a solid clap after
Yeah, no. Utaniambia ife inaweza mali tu kani tu pale kwa rasta adige jana
Ndio nasemanga hapo sasa, hapo ndo maana nasema kabisa.
Pesa.
Juu pesa yangu inaweza
Sasa bora Ben ali. Sasa tuweke Ben asijipange
hata asipolipa na mjenga kipigwa moja yangu ni moja.
Kijana mbaya leo.
Kijana hajakuja sasa Ben kazi ni kwa kumiki yangu ni moja.
But it's perceived as a side for the benefit of the population rather than personal gain. Often viewed as an alternative to strong democracies, this balance prioritize efficiency, economic growth, and social stability. Though usually the cost of civil liberties. And proper definition of project is theory, good intentions result in improved living conditions for the citizens. So let's look at this African history about Singapore is among the most cited, along with Mustafa Kemal in Turkey, Joseph Broz in Yugoslavia, and Franz Albert Rene were Seychelles. Okay, I can even go as far as quoting also Rwanda, Kagame as a benevolent dictator. And Kagame has done a lot for his country. One thing I know is he's not used it for personal gain. But there are also some analysts, the richest but him compared with the root of this one is not used it for personal gain. So this is what I was ask myself. If I look at this family for personal gain, first time I his capital is supposed to be and it's supposed to turn for this market gain. But this benevolent dictator thing, if there's someone who is pushing this narrative and who all of a sudden has killed of course Nigeria kuita mkono tuko kupeleka kihali epidemi then in 2019 put an article for the nation. The article on the money and the law says and he's insisted on this person and this benevolent dictator. Because we like talking about, because we like hyper this benevolent dictator. So what is the
What this country needs is a benevolent dictator with a clear mission that you really have to go. They should appoint judges this time, not the handling of the law, and oversee and clean up everything. We should at this time enforce the power of the president, choosing our security forces, Supreme Court judges,
This is when we supported Uhuru Kenyatta. Then what happened? At some point was supporting now what we're speaking about a dictator being the solution. So
that's so promising, but a goal kept in.
It's very interesting. When we think about dictators who end up being our friends. We think about dictators who end up being your friendly friends. But when we think about
nice ball.
So this is the
Nothing comes of it, it looks promising. An aggressive run. Here he goes! But wait a minute, that will not count.
See how frustrated he is. He just finished off well.
Turn defending. Terrific vision from Ronaldo. Maldini.
I still ask, if what stops, like,
Ronaldo.
if you look at countries,
And Maradona has it. Deftly cut that.
Katikati.
And United States still looked at as a big democracy. It's the
Jonas right. In a decent position. Runs in the middle. And look at this. Nothing in the takes the wind out of the sails, great defending. Maradona. Tremendous vision.
Nyama yake tatuliza homa. Mimi kwanza ananinyuka na nikimya kwanza. Ni ngoma.
Anake mtu mmoja ukimshinda moja isi. Nakiwa ndo umekuza pia. Umekuja na troli. Umekuja na troli.
Umekuja na ubaya.
Haina shida, wacha akapiga chini.
Umepata kijana akiwa kampu.
Mimi siwezi kwa kampu. Yeye hata kwa kampu kwa ina shida. Si nilimpiga juzi hapa hadi pia anaitisha. Juzi hata ulifika waje tao ya.
Mna mzima.
Kwa kuna na tao.
Stellar defensive work to get back in possession. Now with Pele, possession lost there. Ronaldo. Pele. Maybe the ideal pass. Down for Jonas right. Maradona.
Stay there to get it back.
Plenty of support here. Shielding the ball superbly. Matheus.
So nafikiri wakipatana kinalipo of course I can see how shut down and also to so there are 10 of course
Once again, that's how it's all these phases, no doubt about it. Possibilities here. Matheus. Holding on to what they have is the priority, apparently.
Enjoying themselves, aren't they?
He's won the ball. Moving it forward. So it fizzles out thanks to that piece of defending. Still ready to use the counter-attacking ability to good effect. And it's a strike. Lead him in winning attack.
Kasa inatoka kwa msee anaenda kutaka ana hada
Block. Cheki bana kani hapo kwa nani? Nasema afanye nini? Jamaa amenini niko aje amepigwa kazi jamaa amepigwa na Roberto Carlos. Unajua nikileka through ball hapo ai cheki ujama sabon jamaa anafanya yo den sekondao mzitana mbaya Mbona ngembe tena sitaki unataka kuposesa possession. Yes. Ngoja. Umenitai. Umepossess hata kama utaki kusema umepossess. Umepossess. Acha nipate kitu nikai. Sasa mimi na possess. Hata wezi ikia. Mimi si fala mimi. Mimi sijaanza kucheza FIFA juzi hata unaniambia hiyo si possession. Ni possession. Jambo ni possession. Ulifika hata malika hapo. Sikia ball zimekuja hapo. Jana japiga kaunta hapo ndo. Kai Ronaldo bana, Ronaldinho.
Good idea. The challenge that was required. Bypass from Zidane.
Ronaldo alikuwa amejitai. Ronaldo alikuwa amejitai. Kichwa. Alikuwa anakuja kupata kichwa. Sijui hata alikuwa anataka kufikia hiyo kichwa wapi. Jamaa yuko wapi?
Gani video?
Kupiga TV.
Utamuza nini? Gani nini?
Tukianga hizo bao.
And given free rein to run. And teammates to play it to.
Kunyuma tu hawana mimi.
And before this thing became a home crop or a game on the freeway, this was the backbone of the US. This is my 1986 M99 AMJ No Humvee. Introduced in the 1980s, this truck was a cargo race, two carriers, all of it. It's what Los is trying to do anywhere, survive anything and keep moving, no matter what. This one is a 1986 very good. It's lightweight, meaning zero.
Nakwambia unaweka sembe.
Ai. Kabla. Na nataka kumanaja wake. Andi? Kumanaja wake.
Mbona inachukua change?
Ndio najua kujana na wake. No, things you are doing is well. You're the one that knows.
Excellent vision.
Thank you, Deepa. Thank you, Rashid. Ingililia kati bwana.
Chance to play it in.
Oh, only master. Kila mtu ako hapa vijana.
Kuna kazi ni nzuri. Maduri tu.
We are going to be having drifting, driving, a bunch of stuff happening, and we're going to have Tolaric, TJ Hunt, the big time boys, Prep Likely, Jimmy Oaks, Nick Snatter, Big Antron, and of course, the next to the Hopkins, I feel everything to them, which is sound. We have 3 amplifiers, a 2500 by 1 amplifier for the subwoofers, a 2000 by 2 for the speakers, and 400 by 4 for the drivers within the speaker. We also have a DSP digital signal processor which will be able to tune everything you see here and a couple of processors.
Kuna chwani kwa simu. Nunue toki.
Sawa.
Hii yangu siwezi buy.
37.
Buy ya dhati iko tu sawa.
Every single car wire connected, every single RCA, remote,
Usizime hapo
everything
Go
is in.
camera.
And the next step is going to be reassembling the speaker box is going to go above on the roof.
Asi ati unitumie, ununue. Misi hapa iko ina stream.
Oh, return number
37.
You buy it in the pay bill.
Hiyo pay bill
85
01
Alright, we have
1507 12489.
12489.
Kumbuka madogo. Wewe ushaendelea nini wewe? Fanya hivi leo, weka soko kwa simu yangu. Leo weka soko kwa simu yangu.
Ben mwambie umeshaika.
Huyu jamaa anampeanga do kibao na yeye hakuna hata shilingi 10 ameshaikula aje.
Hii maisha ni coin. Unataka Kenya kwani dunia nzima dunia nzima.
Jamaa anaacha nikienda kwa watatu ndo anashika simu. Yeye akifunga hizi shika hiyo simu. Kama unashika simu shika simu na mmoja. Nikienda hivi hapo kwa simu mara huu mara huu. Akikuja hivi jamaa huyu. Sio masaa imeenda kwa dakika 42. Nimeingia sekondari.
Bado mnaonanga hizi vitu. Wacheni wacheni utoto bwana. Vitu za wale watoto wale. Eh?
Huyu jamaa ngozi nini damu yake ni chafu. Ashaanza kufanya mambo mengi huko nje. Na hiyo mira unakula pia. Na hiyo mira unakula. Inakuanga ukinini nguo. Hapana, hii kwangu uchafu.
Sikuna kupaka na kuna ya kumeza. Kumeza. Msaidia kupaka ni kwa na. Kuja kuko atajua ninapatia. Leo nakuja na kusaidia. Uko na ndio unakuja unirudi. Kama simekuja tena.
Showing good game awareness. I think the guys got the same footage ready to go. We're about to start the test pass. We're trying to get it turned in. And if there's a spring clear line.
When you
Kalomse.
Oh, this looks useful.
Yeah.
Today, I try to buy the same exact color, the same brand, both custom code, and it's no where we found in the order that takes 7 days to get here. No, so I'm not for around. But every morning I try to burn it, so I get this whole thing down, and then we got 4 kids, one has no idea. Just something some brand, but if I take some brand, the color must change. So now we know the non-metallic brand. That's a good base coat now, so we're going to use that as a base coat. Ship these over right now. Once again, and shipping out to make this whole thing. So I got 14 bottles. Alright, the truck driver is
Anaingia lakini anaingia mimi simuoni. Maradona anaingia.
Alright, we're finally done with the bed. It turned out amazing.
Nice kabisa. Ungepewa kadi singefika. Nilimaliza dakika ya mwisho. Nilikuwa naua. Nilikuwa naua Ben.
As soon as they put the ball back there was an almighty goal. The fans were trying to push the team forward and get an equaliser.
Siku jamangu anampatia kocha. Ukaza nayo na kazi. Unaona kushinda tena majinga bwana.
It's not going so well.
he just made it to what like steroids and bolts, and he thinks it's gonna come up. I think it's gonna snap. I think the center bolt's gonna snap. Dude, that is a lot. That's so much. Probably that's not gonna snap. I'm watching it twice. Wow. So now I have to take the entire steering column out of the car and actually cut it out.
Unasema niende nikunywe maji. Nimekuwa noma.
Nenda kwa noma. Leo usiende Fidel.
Jamaa wako anaenda wapi? Kuna mtu na kiasi. Socrates.
Socrates de papos de papulo.
Unaona sikuoni chapa.
Lakini ona Socrates de papos de papulo. Wanaitwa aje? Leeds.
There's a rain still coming down heavily here. Hopefully you're safe right home.
The next thing with the concrete is going to be the light march from the outside.
Nimeamua
New. This gives you white light, it gives you amber light, and it's also
Niweke wifi nitumie kidogo. Yana suluhisho wifi na kwa Silipishe wifi na hiyo ni normal miano. Na nakulipa game pia. Ni kitu kidogo. Nimeleta deni yangu ameitext. Wapi? Tumerudi huko kupiga campaign kidogo alafu nilikuwa nataka tusikie ninasema. Unajua kazi zangu ni za pesa. Nataka kuona venye beti yangu inaendelea. Nilijua tu utaongea upuzi. Pesa, sio ndo girlfriend. Kwani wewe ulikuwa unafikiria anasema nani? My money is my girlfriend.
Ndio hao.
Hao ni zako tu.
Unasema hiyo hawezi wale.
That's so sick.
Bana nabahatika mzee hapa. Game imeisha 4-3-3.
Kubahatika kweli.
Hiyo first half unanipiga. Second half nakupiga kiasi. Sasa game inaisha hivyo.
Kwa hapo tukaangalia.
Angalia.
Nasema not everyone play football.
It looks so cool. That's what this truck needed. The casing has a fully saw, everything was completely clean. It looks so sick.
Live in the environment car.
Me bad.
Now let's test them out.
Yeah. Hey, you can't tell. Oh, these are on too.
Lazima ucheze chini, usiposhinde
We'll shut this door, we'll get actually pitch black.
In the name of Jah, we trust. Najua tu mambo yangu ni ndogo. Bro, nimetoa dili hapo. Naona nini? Is it insignificant?
That's insane.
Tactic ni game is square book.
See, I have so many tactics. Number 2 sasa ni mdomo.
Unamdistract.
Lazima tubonge na Ben. Ama ni aje bro?
Pesa wachukua earphones.
Kuna jambo fulani nilienda kucheza PS kwa kijana.
Baadaye kuna watu tu kushinda ndio kuongea.
Sasa kuna msee nilienda kucheza naye PS jana. Nilikuwa namwambia kuna venye yako unampiga.
Si ndio ba.
Alafu makastoma wakakama alikuwa amejam kibongo. Sasa akanini. Lea nilishinda kimbili. Aliniambia jinsi tena niende. Nikuja leo.
Bendo ni mabao zinaongea.
This thing is so wide. Okay, so we're start. We're gonna get the exhaust pipe up. Let's do that, and then the transmission's out. That's not what you just told me.
Wote ni chakula cha mtu. Ndio uunge. Ndio upande.
Unapiganga sisi ndio wewe kwa chakula.
Sasa yeye kukwambia. Umesema
We're gonna get this once off right now. We're gonna get this thing cracked. There's a big line of RCD here. From there, then we're gonna take it and get your case out. This thing is big. It's gonna be heavy. It's probably gonna be a bad time already. So.
Ndio funge jiteke. Utakuletea sijui panda.
Sitting next to me with her tentacle shot is Simpson. And as this game lives up to its billing, we're in for a riveting.
Alafu ije zimepaa kama hata nisijui vizima umeanza kujaribu.
Alright, the transmission is out. Now we've mentioned it. Break it in great. There's mess everywhere. I asked you. Try to breathe it. Before the transmission goes into the new salt, you're going to flex plate. This is set for a new converter for the 700 RPM.
The greatest of growing. Diego Maradona. Ronaldo. Big vision from Ronaldo.
Unajua huyo utafikwa na sekunde tu. Sasa hapo tu ni kwa
Bench is the when you order that.
I've been impressed by that one
Let's
time.
keep going. Are you ready for the video? Yeah, pretty much.
Can you find the right pass?
Not very good game.
Well, Ronaldinho could do just about the lot. He could set up goals, he could score. I wonder what you think he might produce at this match.
Yeah, so efficient with the ball. Whenever he moves his way, he gets the goalkeeper. The defenders are going to have to remain focused for the full 90 minutes.
Christmas lights on now, Sunday or transfer case back up? Oh, wow. Easy.
Today? That's a good ball.
Nem tukamoka kwa mfuko kwenda kama
Take up that. Ronaldinho. Working so hard to win that possession.
Transmission is completely down on the Humvee. We're going to wait for that to be done tomorrow. I'll get this off without the service.
Good guys are plan in the end. Options are plenty. Good work on that one. Ronaldinho.
Sigunya Copa ameacha goli. Wote.
Is still against the wall.
That's radio lucky.
Piga bola no.
This is an increasing example of decision sex.
So how do you spell is that whole center section and
Nice push. Just one more
Поставь фотографию.
Non ha di passi in
Ronaldo yupo. Anabidi kapasia guliku mwenzake. Nyama.
Shangaa. Na usiko kutoa.
Ingia hapo. Ndio kelele mzee wa kazi akalala Ronaldo wako. Kwa huo mnyama. Naweka bola nezi ananibu
Maradona. Ultimately resolved the situation. Away they go again. Second half is underway now. Will do it. Ronaldo on the ball.
That's the way to do is go for a test ride.
Good.
Trust me, you see how it shifts. Also, like to see.
Kwa nyuma yangu. Hata mwenye nimepea.
Olha, boa noite, José.
Quando ninguém conhece ele, eu vou passar.
Seconda comunicare se
Umekuja. Iko mbaya. What is it for that, bro? Nitiki maneno kwa mbona watu wawili?
Ronaldo. Nicely over the top. Like a certain goal, but that's a great goal.
I've never done anything well from it. But I want to talk about that. Safe. It's like, I know you guys are going to be amazing because I'm probably going to go 6-8 but I'm not going to try. Once I feel uncomfortable, I'm going to back up.
The flag has gone up. Offside. 10 minutes to go then.
It's very slippery. I'll say that.
Come on, what is a glorious night for football. Perfect
Nasikia wenye watu waongea wakati wanashinda. Bora msiku
Leo lakini Ben amekwambia ushindi hapa.
showing a good reading of the game.
Umeambiwa kama toxic, labda ubadilishe flow.
Let's have a look at the initial 11 for the visitors. Left Yaskin begins to go. Pablo Maldini plays with Carlos Alberto in the fullback positions. Plays alongside Cruz Pulis in the centre. The line today is Pele.
God, thank you for looking up.
Cruz Pulis. Nicely cut out. Right. Pulis has it. Johan Cruyff. Not the like him on that pass. He was being pressed, but did his job. Diego Maradona. And it's from Ronaldinho. Big time tackle.
Lazima tucheze tukisomana.
Thierry Henry. Progress to win possession back. Teammates around him.
Strategy evaluation.
Kumbuka tikati msemano. Chini kwa jam hapo tuka post. I love. Good, when you don't go to
Stepping away. Good run and good ball control. put an end to that attack. Pele. And moving it forward. Excellent defending. Really good build-up, but no end product. The upshot is free kick.
Biggest off-road events of the year. This event is 2 weeks long. We're in the middle of the desert. It's kind of like off-road scene with big trucks, UTVs, dirt bikes, quads, everything you can think of. We're going to go walk around, see some vendors, see what's going on, check out the cars, and kind of immerse ourselves in the off-road world. The off-road world here is going to be sitting in dirt bikes, all the
Defending danger, but good defending.
So we're going to go inside, check out what's going on.
Plenty of support here.
So this is the vendor section of Hammertown. This is where all the vendors are displaying all of their new products, suspension arms, shocks, stuff like that. So we're going to look around, see what the vendors have. So you can see what we can do next.
Let's go.